Hey everyone, welcome to the Team Kitchen Fable interview series. In this series, we're going to be interviewing to kind of get to know them a little more, get to know about why they play Fab, what they use to get better, and just get to know the team a little bit more. And so, first off, we have Alpha Chad Spencer. Chad, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your name, and where you're from?
Yeah, my full name's Chad Spencer, aka Alpha Dwezzle. You can find that in Discord and pretty much anywhere as I post, either on Facebook or starting to get into Instagram a little bit, and on the YouTubes as well with my very small channel. As for me personally, I'm a big gamer. I've played card games most of my upcoming life. I've played video games ever since I could basically hold a controller. Ever since I was like 3 or 4, we had a Nintendo in the house, NES. Today's my birthday. I just turned 38 years old.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I definitely don't feel as old as I really am. I still feel like a kid at heart, and I think that'll continue.
Well, you don't look as old as you said you were. So
yeah, a lot of people don't think I'm 38. Like, you got to be like 24, right? I'm like, nah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, just a big gamer, playing card games and stuff like that. I'm playing a lot of Diablo lately. I just picked up a Switch, so I've been playing some RPGs on Nintendo I've wanted to catch up on and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we're going to format this interview as if we were playing a game of Fab. So that was the hero reveal. And I also want you to reveal, how did you get into the game? How did you start playing Fab?
Yeah, I first heard of the game. It was probably the start of this year, probably January, February, give or take. And one of my friends that I go to the LGS with, that I frequent and play, played a lot of Magic the Gathering with him. He got into it first and kept pestering me like, man, you got to try Flesh and Blood. You got to try Flesh and Blood. This game's really cool. I think you'll like it. And I kind of shrugged it off at that time, so I was playing a lot of Standard, a lot of Commander and Magic, and I just didn't have the time and or the resource to really split into a second game. So I kept pushing it off. And then one Friday night after an F&M, the game shop owner sat me down. He's like, yeah, I got some Blitz precons. Just play a game. Like, they're not fancy decks, just a couple of rares, just the precons basically, and just try it out. So I was like, yeah, I think I'll try it out. And like 3 hands into the game, after learning some very base mechanics of what I'm even looking at for cards, what these cards effects do, and just how to play the game. And my brain just clicked. It was like, this game is freaking sweet. Like, this game has got it. Like, it's solving a lot of the problems that some other TCGs just can't seem to get over. And it was just completely different. And I could see the complexity and the level of depth that the game could offer right away. And I was just instantly hooked.
I think we all remember that moment. We were like, this is the game, like, I'm gonna start. It's pretty cool.
I think that's a pretty common opinion for a lot of players.
Oh yeah, we all have that moment. It's great. I got a fun question for you. If you could describe yourself using only one current card from the game, which card would that be and why?
That's a really good question. As one card, I would have to pick Lord of Wind. That kind of goes into that Ninja and Katsu in general is like my absolute favorite hero. And I play Katsu everywhere. I prefer him over Ara, even in Blitz. So I like to maybe self-appoint myself as like the master ninja, but I know there's definitely better ninjas out there, but Katsu is definitely my bread and butter.
Nice. So now we'll move into our turn phase. At the start of your turn, you always have to remember that Tunic resource. So what's one resource that you use for your Flesh and Blood game that you would like to share with others?
Off the top, I use just a lot of free tools that probably a lot of common players use, but for new players that haven't heard of it, I use FabDB a lot. It's a website, fabdb.net, I do believe it is. You can build decks, you can search up card libraries, you can search up cards and get some rulings on the cards as well, explaining the card effects. It's a really great resource. I make all of my decks on there. A lot of even online Discord servers will let you use FabDB links for your deck to submit your deck list for tournaments. That's a really good resource. As far as like recording video, I just use OBS, which is a free download, and I pair that to my Samsung cell phone. I'm recording this video with it right now, and it's working pretty good, I think.
Nice.
And then the other one would be like Tabletop Simulator, which is a Steam-based program. You can play Basically, the whole library of cards is available. You can craft decks. You can import them from FabDB, which is another reason to use that program, and import them and play games online with other people. It's really good.
Sure, appreciate it. Those are all great resources. And if you guys are wondering where you can go to find those resources, they will be linked in the description below so that you guys can check them out whenever you want. So now we move on to our action phase. Couple questions to help us get to know some of that action that you have played in your history of playing Flesh and Blood. So first off, what are your main decks that you play? You mentioned Katsu earlier. Is there any other decks that you like playing a lot?
I mean, I've got a fair extensive card pool, so I do have pretty much all the cards at my disposal to play any hero I want. But I do like playing Dory as a backup. I've been messing around with Bravo quite a bit. Played Viserai, played Briars. I've played Chain a little bit. But those are the main ones that I really mess around with.
Cool. And what is your best tournament appearance that you have had so far?
Best big tournament? I just recently came back from Nationals, and I was 1 win away from making day 2. So that was a top 24 cut. I landed 33rd out of 81 people, so that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And then I played the day 2 Prode Quest, and I was 4-1 going into the 6th round. I needed to win to in, and I lost it, and I made 11th. So that was pretty sweet out of a maxed out 64-player tournament.
Cool. You also have a Road to Nationals win under your belt, I hear?
I did win the Road to Nationals. Yeah, that was a small 6 players, though, so that feels kind of like cheating. So. But it was definitely a win.
It's a Road to Nationals. You got Katsu some of his living legend points.
We did. Definitely did. It was 6 players. We played 3 rounds of Swiss, and I just happened to win.
Nice. Well, congrats.
Thank you.
And what has been your favorite Flesh and Blood memory so far?
Honestly, it's been to have this whole experience of even applying for and making Team Kitchen Fable. Louis Discord from Kitchen Table CCG is and has been. He's the only Patreon I've ever subscribed to in my life. Still is the only one that I subscribe to. And that was really a jump start, like a giant kickstart to me learning Flesh and Blood more seriously, just sheer exposure, sheer experience, taking tons of losses up front and just learning the game and just slowly getting better. And then he announced that he was going to create this team. And I was like, what the heck? I'll just throw my name in the hat. And if I get declined, so be it. I tried. And here I am today.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we have a great team. Louis does great things on the Kitchen Table TCG. It's so cool to be in his server, to be with people who are like-minded and who just want to play.
Yep. No lack of games going on there, that's for sure.
Yep, that is for sure. All right, now we move into the reaction phase. So that's going to be a rapid-fire question phase. Just kind of say the first thing that comes to your mind as I say the questions. Cool. So, you ready?
Ready.
All right. So, your favorite hero to play?
100% Katsu.
Katsu. What's your favorite card?
Favorite card, artwork-wise, it would probably be Blood Tribute from Monarch First Edition version, followed very closely by Massacre. That card is ruthless.
Yeah,
ruthless.
For sure. What's the most overrated card in the game?
I'd have to go out on a limb and say Command and Conquer. Very overrated card.
Wow.
And it's so powerful. Like, it's just a staple. But a lot of people will almost bend over backwards because it's just so strong. It is very much an overrated card, but it's also irreplaceable at the same time. So it's got that double-edged sword aspect to it where you kind of need it, but at the same time, you really don't, and you can kind of play around without having it.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm sure we might get some flack for that, but
maybe.
I kind of agree. What's the most underrated card in the game?
Most underrated card. Let's think here. Actually, this came up from me playing some more recent commoner events, and I've rediscovered the card from Monarch called Brandish. It's a common, and it attacks for 3 with Go Again, and if it hits, it gives your next weapon attack +1 power. So I played that in Benji in Blitz, in Commoner Blitz, and it actually worked out pretty good. You can actually wind up a Kodachi for free.
Oh wow!
It's basically unblockable under Benji's rule.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
If you were a Flesh and Blood hero, what class would you be?
Definitely ninja, and I'd probably be more like Chris Farley in Beverly Hills Ninja, just this big oaf of a ninja. So I'm a bigger dude, but
Nice.
I'd definitely be a ninja.
Nice. And what do you most want to see in Everfest? More ninja cards, right?
Of being super bandwagony, maybe less broken Runeblade. Also, because I'm very ninja minded, I'd like to see a ninja card that flavor wise has some like shurikens, like throwing stars or throwing kunais or something like that, to do maybe some sort of projectile damage. And
like a one-time use card or something.
Kind of. I've actually designed a card for Louis' contest he's doing for that design a card. We're actually designed a combo card that threw throwing stars with a certain effect. So
okay.
You can see that on my Instagram if you decide to follow me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we'll move on to our end step now.
Sure.
So what's one piece of advice that you would give a player that they can keep in their arsenal to remember during games?
Yeah, this comes from personal experience. And when you're first getting into it as a newer player, remember to breathe and just relax and have a good time. And don't get so worked up over winning games. Like, it took me a long time before I actually started winning games, even remotely consistency. So you're going to take some lumps up front, and it's okay to lose. What's more important is that you learn something from that loss to take away, like, oh, I could have done this line better. I could have played this card a little bit better. And just learn something for next time. And you'll just slowly become more and more experienced. And before you know it, you'll be taking down games.
Yeah, for sure. Review every game. Keep notes.
Yep. And just breathe and try to relax. And don't be so... I was very, very nervous going into my first online Discord. Like, I just set up my camera. I'm scrambling to get play, and I'm just sweating bullets. I was so anxious. So just remember to breathe.
Cool. That's great advice. Thank you, Chad. Well,
thank you.
Appreciate you sitting down with me for an interview. Yeah. Any parting words?
Nothing out of the blue. Like I said, you can follow me on Instagram if you like. I don't do a lot of the socials, but I'm trying to get more of an online presence. So you can find me. If you search for Alpha Dwuzzle, it's almost guaranteed going to be me.
All right. Cool. Well, appreciate your time. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. And thank you for following our Team Kitchen Fable.
Thank you. Have a good night.